my hand planes. And why am I showing you this? Probably the ones I use the most are this one, then this, 3, 4, 5. The ones that I don't use, and they're not really hand planes, but they're a chisel plane, are these two. And this little item right here I do use a lot, and that's for glue cleanup. And that's what I kind of designed these chisel planes for, was glue cleanup, but I never use them. And the reason is they're just so big and they're hard to set. So this has to be perfectly parallel to that edge out here. And if you run into something, a case side or anything firm, you can push this blade back, even though you have this this handmade wooden cap tightened down. So I want to do something different with these. I want to take this one apart and just show you the kind of the guts of this thing. So you got your tightening cap there. Let me turn this down a little. Washer, the lever cap, I'll call it, and then the blade. And you can see that I've got this little piece of wood that holds the blade in place and keeps it parallel to that edge pretty much. Doesn't really wander all that much, but you can see that if you jar that, you can push that back. So what I want to do is just take this and create a body to hold the plane blade this way, get a grip on it, and basically use it to clean up glue, or pair surfaces flush. And I think that you take the angle, you change that angle, I don't know, I think this might be about 10 degrees or so. You take that angle, and if this is 25, you've now turned that into 35. But now you put this down flat on your work surface, and you're going to be always registered to the flat of what you're working on. And the angle is now 25 degrees instead of 25, plus this. So I don't know if I can salvage this block, but I'd like to. I'm going to try and just cut it back this way. It's a good little piece of wood to hold on to. So, and I could shave it down some more. But I'm going to start with this and see if I can come up with a way that I can, salvage this piece and put it to better use. I guess I'll put it that way. So let's see what happens here. So what I have to imagine here is that the blade is on the bottom of the block now, and I'm pushing this way. So I kind of like the feel of this. There's really no reason to start over. But how do I mate these together? And my first thought was just cut a recess here for the blade about that deep, I'll call it 1/8, so that, well, actually probably not quite that deep. You want the blade to be just slightly above this lip back here so that it's always flush. I mean, I could sand that flush too. At any rate, that's what I'm kind of thinking. So if I take that and just say, let's go back, I'm going to draw a line here about a half an inch back or forward from the back here, and then just clean that up. It'll be easier to do that with this piece out here, you know, straddling the blade, giving it some support rather than trying to do it the other way. I think that's what I'm going to try first. You know, I've got both of these. If it works with this one, it'll work on the bigger one as well. Well, I decided to break out my Moxon vise here. I have not used this thing in forever. And you can tell because you can see the marks here from where the knobs were and the fading from the sun, I guess. It's quite evident. But anyway, it holds this nice and solid, and I'm just going to run my router plane here and clean these up. I left this little bridge in the middle for support. Didn't want to get, because if I got over to this edge, I would lose contact. So I'll clean this out after with just a chisel. This middle part's not really going to matter. I was just going to clamp it with a hand screw here and then clamp this to my table. Probably would have been faster and easier, but this works out well. This baby is nice and solid. So let me clean this up. You can see what I've done here. Where's my blade? So this will rest back here, and it is above the surface for now. I hope I don't take too much off. I think it'll clean up pretty easy. Now that I'm getting close, I'm going to come from both directions here. It's getting real close. And that is good. I like it. It'll sit on this. It'll sit this way. Okay. Now, see if I am a little bit off square there with this back here. See if I can tune that up a little. This corner needs to come off just a fraction. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I'm going to have to go with plan B here because I don't have much of a grip on this. I'm not holding enough of that. And if I move it down here, there I go, then I can rest on that screw. Not Not much material to be taken off here. Matter of fact, I'm done. See how we did here. That's perfect. That is just perfect. Make a mark on this. Inch and a half. All right, so this is a really snug fit. So I'm just going to take and sand this lightly. I'll grab my sanding block here. This is 220. This end is pretty good. This end is just a little wider. Not much more. There it is. Nice fit. All right, so I've got a little room in there to kind of move it back and forth. I think I might shorten it a little bit. I am going to take off these back corners. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now this sits proud of the blade. I've got to plane that down. Let me move this camera here. So I put sandpaper down on this, so that's a thing I did shortly after I made it. Let's just see how thin I got to take this. Thinner than that. Oh, that's why it dipped on me. Never mind. Forgot to lock my back knob there, so the piece went, the bed went down and wasn't locked. Pivoted on me. It's a good thing I put X's on that. X's down. Look at these little shavings, isn't that? That is fun. We're getting close. A few more passes, maybe 3 or 4 more passes if I don't have this, or if I'm still cutting, I should say. I might have to raise the bed again, but let's see. Yeah, I only got 2 more out of it. That's not enough. And because I've got those rounded corners on it, I know that it's going in this way every time I'm checking it too. That is going to be good right there, I think. Now I suppose I could use super glue on this, but I'm just going to use regular yellow glue here. Not a lot. That's enough. Put that down in there. Rub it back and forth a little bit. We'll bring it back a hair here and there. There we go. So I've got probably about a 1/16 of an inch clearance there. I'm going to bring that a little tighter. There. Let that get a good little set going. But that should be perfectly registered, and it is. Just want to make sure I don't have any glue going against that blade. I shouldn't. Boy, that little wooden piece is just perfect below the surface. I like that. Yeah, there's some glue there. Looking at this next one, I've got a little bit of a problem here. I've got the blade going past that carriage bolt holder there. I don't know if I want to cut it back that far. That's going to leave a lot of blade exposed. We can see, or I can fill that. I'd forgotten. I guess I hadn't forgotten because I'm using it, or I just got it. But I have this jig that I made to extend the fence, and boy does it make life a lot easier. That's too big a bite there. Still too big a bite, but I'm going to muscle through it. Missed it by that much. But that's alright, I'll just fill that in. It's going to be covered by the blade. This is red oak. I had a white oak dowel made, but It's just a hair too big, and I don't want to fight that, so I'm gonna just cut this off, drop it in, fill that with some sawdust and super glue, and call it good. Same as last time, I got it close and then just did a little light sanding here. A couple of minutes is all it really took. So it slides pretty good. I can drop it in and out. I think I will be anyway. Try it this way once. Yeah, that's a better fit right there. Don't know why, but alright, so I'll make a, let's see, this will be my bottom. So this will be the bottom, and I'll round this off slightly. No need to really do that, but aesthetics, I guess. All right. When your piece is sitting that much higher than these guide rails, you can have a tendency to go one way or the other, but if you keep an eye on those shavings, you'll see that you're keeping the plane parallel to the edge, or to the surface of the piece you're planing, and that is good. Alright, I got this successfully glued in. I don't want to play around with it too much. It's only been about a couple of minutes, but that's going to be good for this one. Now I can let this sit and cure and go to work on the other one. Be stationary. I got the blade set to 42 degrees. Let's see what this looks like when we get done here. Decent cut, but when I turned the saw on, it jumped a little bit, and what happened was I was tight this way, but then it jumped that way because it's a wedge. It wanted to force its way out, but I did get what I wanted here, I guess. So I've also got my holes drilled for my magnets. I'll sand this up a little bit. I could always just shake that down some more with the belt sander, I suppose. Put this in give this a little bit more of a swoop through here. We'll worry about that later. Let's just see how it functions once we get it put together. So I'm going to put a couple of drops of super glue in here, drop my magnets in, and let's see how it works. Keep your magnets far apart. Wow, that comes out of there in a hurry. Oh, where did that? That's good. Holds it nice and snug. And pull it back to the shoulder here. That should work just fine. Pushing away from the cutting edge so I won't run the risk of cutting myself. Nice. So there you have it. Registered. It's not going to slide out. And it's going to stay on there nice and true. This is below the bottom of the plane. And the heel here will keep it from going backwards. Like I said, this keeps it laterally, it keeps it registered to this block. It's going to be nice. Much more useful tool, I think, than that really long thing I had. Well, now I located that magnet a little too far this way. Wasn't even thinking about that hole right there, but it's still grabbing. It's still grabbing 2/3 of the blade. Yeah, that'll be okay. So I left first of all, I'm glad I made this repair because this would have been an ugly thing to do afterwards. And to get rid of it, I'd have to come back, probably back to here. So that turned out all right. Different color, but that's okay. Same situation. Blade is held in place. Easy enough to get off. Registers in the same spot. It feels good. So a little sanding, I suppose, up here, kind of round things over a little bit, but once again, that is going to be nice.